Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you? Thanks for
Uh,
your time today.
oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, watched the movie, was really fun. You're really terrific in it. Jumping right in, you not only star in this movie, but you act as co-director and producer. So what kind of drew you to this particular project?
Yeah, well, thank you. I got the script from the Gear brothers. I know them. I used to write music with them back in the day, and I just fell in love with the story. I just thought that there were so many elements that sort of jumped out at me. The music being one, but the wink at the '80s, different genres. This Spielbergian sort of Dante Gremlinsy beginning into this slow burn, story-driven, acting-driven. Second act and having these elements of Sin City, a sort of graphic novel, and then the third act is blowing up to this crazy Tarantino-esque, climax with feelings of perhaps Evil Dead. My character Ash being like resembling Ash in that, and then also having a crime thriller too. I just all these different elements popped out at me, and I called Darren and I said, "Man, listen," and I said all the things that I said to you just now, and I was like, "God, I get this. This is incredible." Blah blah. And he's like, "Dude, that's the movie. You just picked up on all the Easter eggs, all the winks, all." And he's like, and then we just started talking. I'm like, "I got to make this thing," and I was on a plane to LA, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, it's interesting because this movie is very musically driven. Like the theme song is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, dude.
And doing some homework. Now, you had experience as a musician based in New York. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I did early 2000s, mid to mid 2000s. I had a band out of New York. I had a little record deal. So, yeah, I do.
Nice. So that must have been awesome. This project must have felt like so at home because again, it has an amazing soundtrack. You have a lot of musicians doing awesome cameos. Segue into that, like, what were some of the cameos like to film? Like, there's so many of them. Like Tommy Lee shows up as a
Yeah.
DJ at one point.
Yeah, listen, the cameos were so amazing and getting to speak. And, Alan Kovac, the CEO and founder of Better Noise Music, is the guy behind this. He said, "Michael, let's make this movie. Here you go do it." He saw the tie-in between metal and rock and horror and, sort of what's around that corner, that they go hand in hand. And, this thing screamed a killer soundtrack. So he put me in contact with all the bands. Five Finger Death Punch. I'd speak with Zoltan Bathory, Ivan Moody, these guys, and be like, "Hey, Jason Hook at the time, Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach." Talk to them about their character, the scene, what they're doing long before they arrived on set. And then they come to set. They were all so prepared, and the goal was to do it in a very non-gratuitous manner, in which, if you weren't a fan of the band, you'd think they were just an actor. I wanted it to be a film first. It was really important to me, but then have this beautiful gold silver lining of all these incredible musicians with this music. So it was amazing to work with them all. And I got to tell you, they were all incredible. There was one scene in particular. I don't even think the whole thing made the movie, but some of it does. Jacoby Shaddix gets on top of my character, and he's supposed to be like he's been in a cage. He's really hungry, right, for human flesh. And he literally licked my face from my chin all the way up across both times, like licked me, and he's pulling my hair, right? And I'm like, in real life, I mean, it hurt and it was disgusting. And I'm like, oh my God. And then we did a second take, and I'm like, all right, listen. I didn't want to stop him because he was so committed, and the camera was really close. And I was like, this guy's all in. God, I love him. We got to get this. But when you're acting, sometimes you might go like this with your hand and put it on the actor's head, and then the actor's supposed to go, but he was literally pulling my hair. But it gives you an example. These guys came to play. They were so dedicated, and then it happened one after the other after the other. They were all that dedicated to their characters and making sure what got up on the screen sold. So it was incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure that, like yourself, they're probably big horror movie fans, so they really jived really well with the material.
Yeah.
Um, it's so funny when you talk about the references because right away I was like, Dead Alive, like when like the cold open, you're covered in blood, and it's just like at the end with the mower. I loved it. That was cool.
Yeah.
As you can see, I hate movies, so I don't really.
I was just gonna say that's a nice collection back
Oh,
there.
thank you. This it's kind of crazy. This is like just the stuff that's not in storage right now. It's
God.
wild. Yeah, I'm like digging the poster behind you too. That's pretty killer.
Bro.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's such a fun movie. You're really terrific in it. I thought that you and Katie had a really awesome dynamic. You all have such a good like you definitely get a feeling like a father-daughter type of thing. And so I was like kind of curious if like the schedule allowed for you guys to hang out a little bit to get that kind of bond or
Honestly, on this one, no, man. You know, the truth of the matter is I produced this, directed some. It was like we'd film 12-hour days, and I'd go back to my hotel, and on those really those stunt days when I was covered in blood and fighting, it'd be at least an hour shower to get all the gook and everything off and sort of put my head in a place to now get on the phone and deal with all the producing stuff because it's always about what goes wrong, locations, we lost this, that actors, this. So it was a tough one, man. I was working all the time. I did put Katie in the film because I did a movie called Snow Babies that before this one, and she was in that, and she was so great. So I just knew she would be awesome and bring it. And there was some familiarity between us, so that was really good, you know. And again, her scene's so important because it's really what drives the rest of the movie and drives my character to through this, you know, to peel back this onion and get to where he is at the end of the film.
yeah, and it's great casting because she's terrific. You both are, and I
Thank you.
think that, like I said, you all work so well together. You definitely, I definitely, as an audience member, bought that relationship.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was gonna say, you kind of talked a little bit about this, but like, I guess it must have been pretty grueling just doing like some of the I'm gonna try to be vague for spoiler's sake, but you know, your character goes through quite a lot by the end, and you are caked in blood. Like, how miserable is that? Like doing that, and then also having to act and hit your mark and lines and
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, it's not a, you know, you got to look at this. So I say these things, then I go, look, I'm not digging ditches. I'm making a movie. So I never want to sound like this, you know, actor guy who's complaining. But it was 19 degrees. We're filming outside at nights. My character's in a t-shirt. The fake blood sort of sucks. It's all this like syrupy, sticky substance. And I hate makeup. So like if it's on, but your t-shirt's sticking to your chest, there's like leaves stuck to you. They have to come and reset it. I hated that when they would come and pour more on me. And then your chin is sticking to your chest. And then the fighting was pretty intense, man. We did a lot of stunts. I did like 95% of them myself. So there was a lot of bumps and bruises at the end of the day. But, you know, it worked for the character. You have to use what you can as an actor. So you try to grab wherever you can. And my character's kind of turned inside out in this movie. So even though I was exhausted, you know, it worked. You'd use that. I wasn't worried about sleep. By the time we got through that first act, that very beginning, I was good to go. So it was good to be worn down and beat down and sort of so vulnerable in that manner. But, you know, I'm so blessed to be able to do what I do. I'm not complaining. I come from a hardworking family, laborers, blue collar people. So I'm never afraid of the work, and nor I'm making a movie at the end of the day, you know?
yeah, no, that's awesome. And just kind of wrapping up, what are some upcoming projects that fans can be excited for as far as like you starring in or directing?
Yeah, well, about a month ago, I was just an actor on this one, so it was fun just to rip in, do my stuff, have some fun, not, you know, not have to deal with all that they were behind the scenes. But I was in a film. It's a romantic comedy, so it was really fun to just play a little bit and just be like sort of a tool on screen and have some big comedy moments and improvise a little bit. And Tom Berenger plays my dad in the movie, so that's a lot of fun. He's an incredible guy. I'm a huge fan of his. He's done over 89 feature films. He's had a lot of great stories for me. Oliver Stone's story, on and on and on. He's great. Jamie Lynn from the show Ted Lasso. Oh, John Heater from Napoleon Dynamite's
Oh,
in
nice.
it. Yeah, he's great, dude. What a good guy. So it was a lot of fun. I did that. I don't know where that's going to go or when that's going to come out. It was a nice indie film. I like staying in the indie world and trying to really create and collaborate and, bring something new to the world. So we'll see. I got to get the Retaliators across the finish line now. There's still a little more work to do. We're coming out in theaters 9/14, so we're almost there. But then there's still a lot more work to do to see this baby through.
Yeah, well, that sounds great. Like I said, the movie's a blast. I know we're out of time, but I just want to say thank you again. This was awesome. As you said, September 14th, right, is when this comes out.
September 14th. Come on.
All right.
Go to the retaliatorsmovie.com and there's tickets. They'll say, oh, near you. Yeah, it doesn't actually talk, but it comes up.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I will link that in the description so y'all can check that out. And thank you again so much. This was a blast.
Thank you, Mike. You be good. And thank you for taking the time and your thoughtful questions, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you.
You be good. See you.
See you.